Good evening, and thanks for joining tonight's TI Technology webinar hosted by Texas Instruments. We're tonight just in time for Halloween. Tom Reardon's going to share some tricks and treats, so I can't wait. My name is Mike Houston, and I'm the moderator for this event. I teach algebra and calculus near Pittsburgh, where I use TI Technology to make those tough to teach and tough to learn concepts accessible to all my students. And with us tonight is Tom Reardon. Tom taught for 35 years at the high school level and has spent now many years working for TI in product strategy and development. So Tom, it's great to have you with us tonight.
I'm excited to be here. This is going to should be fun.
Well, Tom, would you mind talking through some of the things that you're hoping to get to tonight?
Sure. So you've got the introductions. We're going to look at creating ghosts with functions, how to carve a pumpkin, make a matho lantern, if you will, using either the draw feature or functions. All files and materials you're going to get. There'll be a webinar drawing at the end, and I will tell you we have something for 84 grayscale, 84 color, and Nspire color. So we're going to try to hit everybody tonight.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tom. We're expecting a large crowd, so your audio is muted. Feel free to send any questions to Tom using the Q&A window on the right side of your screen, and we'll be also using the chat window tonight to send general messages. As a reminder, the session is being recorded, and we'll provide a link to the event certificate of attendance, as well as a link for the documents that Tom's using tonight at the conclusion of the webinar. All right, Tom, it is all yours. Feel free to share your screen.
Okay, thank you. All right, and welcome everybody. So notice I have something with the TI-84, something with the CE, and also something with Nspire. And I'm hoping that I hit that for all of you. Do have quotes for you, okay? So this one I found. I was deciding if I should dress up as Batman or Spider-Man for Halloween when I realized I'm a grown man. So it was Batman, and that's from Stephen Colbert. The other one, there are three things I've learned never to discuss with people: religion, politics, and the great pumpkin. And that comes to us courtesy of Linus from Charlie Brown. So with that out of the way, in the chat, if you would, Mike, if you could kind of give me an idea, if you are primarily an 84 CE user, just type in 84 CE in the chat. If you do not use color and use an 83 or an 80, type in 84 without the CE. And if you're an Nspire user, put in Nspire. And then Mike can kind of give me an idea of, you know, it's a third, or whatever. I'm going to show all three anyway. I just would like to have an idea of what it is. So go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and continue, but you've got about 34 more seconds there. So here are some of the files. You have access to all of them, not only that, but how to create them. And for those of you who are not sure how to use TI Connect CE, I made a video on how to do that so that you can use that as well. So this is the 84. This is the 84 CE files that we'll be looking, and TI-Nspire CX. So you'll find out, you'll get all those things, okay, and find out how to do them or create them on your own, or create your own files like bats or witches or whatever. Okay, whatever works for you. All right, so let's go ahead and start off on the Mike. What's the feeling there? You gotta.
Yeah, I'd say it's predominantly 84, probably split between like CE and 84 plus. A couple people use both Nspire and 84, but I'd say majority is probably 84 at this point.
Okay, and you said, would you say most are 84 color or split?
Looking, it looks pretty split to me. There's
Okay.
I see lots of CEs
so,
in
like
there.
I said, I'm showing all three. So hopefully, there'll be times when you'll say, I don't have that calculator. Well, stay with me on it. Okay. All right. So we're going to start off with the 84 CE. So let me bring that up. And there we go. And let's go ahead and look at a ghost, okay? So let me go ahead and run a program. Again, you don't have this, but you will. Program called Ghost. And there we go. So I'll run this program called Ghost. And it says press the graph key to see the ghost being drawn. So I'll go ahead and press the graph. Oops, and I forgot I had a pumpkin back there. Sorry about that. Let me take that pumpkin away. We'll bring that pumpkin back and press graph. And then that was showing it like function by function. You can also go to mode and have it do this simultaneously, and that's kind of cool. So I'll go to mode and press simultaneous right here. And now when I press graph, it'll go from left to right. And that's kind of cool. Are you, somebody saying they're not seeing my screen? Mike, is the screen coming across okay?
Yep, looks okay on my end, Tom.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we have that. Okay, we have that. And so I created a PDF that shows you how you can create not only this, but ones like it. And so let me bring that up. And let's see, 84 CE, how to draw a ghost on the T84 CE. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, but it's all in here. So the first thing I would do is make a hand-drawn sketch of you want whatever figure it is you're trying to make. So I suggest using a grid that uses the first quadrant. And so this is a grid that is not only in the first quadrant, but you can see it's pretty much square, okay? So I have X going from 0 to 13 in steps of 1, and Y going from 0 to 8 in steps of 1. I turned on the grid line so that I could see points. I turn off the grid line when I'm done so that, it looks cooler, okay? So second zoom is format, and then I can turn on the grid line right here. Again, this is on the 84 CE. The 84 will be done in a similar way, except you have grid points instead of grid lines, and we'll talk about that when we get it. So I'm going to draw the figure by hand, and I am not the best artist in the world, but I drew it so that I could have, like, say, a semicircle for the top of the head, parabolas for the sides, a parabola for the bottom, circles for the eyes, and parabolas for the nose or mouth, depending on how you look at it. And so I labeled these Y1 through Y0 just for reference. So I'm going to start with this equation right here, Y1. And you can see I have a parabola with a vertex here, and I want it to go through this point also. So I discuss how to do it here. And this is not something I necessarily would do with your students or have your students have. I'd have them maybe discuss it or be in part of your exercise or your activity. So the vertex is at 3, 1.5, and I want it drawn to this point. So I tried this parabola first using the vertex form, and then I had to play with what the coefficient would be so that it was narrow or wide enough. And then I had to chop it off or use a restricted domain between these two numbers so that I got the part that I want from the parabola. So there's a lot of good mathematics that goes on here. And I encourage this not only if you're doing a ghost, but whatever figure you're doing, okay? So that was Y1, okay? And this would be what is typed into Y1 using the piecewise function. And I'm just using 1, okay, like a limited domain. Y2 would be the top half of a circle. And so I had the center at 6.5, 6, and the radius I wanted to be 2. And I got all of that from right here. Okay, here's the center right here. But when I solve for this, I only want the top half of it. So I had to solve for y, and I didn't show each step, but trust me that it's okay. It's 6 plus that square root or 6 minus the square root. The minus would be the bottom part of it. So, and I also don't need to limit the domain as the circle pretty much limits itself, okay? Y3 turned out to be a reflection of Y1 through this axis of symmetry right here. And so the equation was similar, except I'm going with the left-hand side of the parabola. So again, this is the vertex right here at 10, 1.5. And again, I'm using 2 because it's got that symmetry. I just had to figure out what values of X to use here. So I'm not going to go through the rest of it. It's there for you. You have access to this. The nose I did use, or with the mouth, it depends on how you look at it. I did use 2 different parabolas, a wider one and a narrower one. Okay, have all those. And then at the end, I wanted to make sure the graph was all the same color because on this 84 CE, each one is a different color. So I changed them all to black, so it would be black on white. You could make your ghost another color if you want. If you wanted the eyes to be red or whatever, you could do that. Also at the end, I don't want the grid lines to be shown, so I turned them off. Right here, I turn them off. And then I can go ahead and just press graph and see that and boom. So are there questions or comments about that? Anything I went too quickly that you have a question about? Okay, I'm just going to say no since I haven't seen anything pop up. So that's on the 84 CE. Now, before I go on, let me just go back to the 84 CE. And now here's the thing. When I go to y equals, here's the equation that's there, first one. Y equals, and then you can see it's got the brackets for the piecewise. Here's the parabola, and then the semicolon is put in when you do the in fact, maybe I should even type that in. Let me go ahead and type that in because some of you might not be aware of that. So let me clear what's in Y1, okay? And what I want to do is put in a piecewise graph. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the math key and press the up arrow twice. And you'll notice the up arrow, since towards the end I'm using piecewise. So I'm going to say piecewise, and I only want one piece. It'll go up to 5 and down to 1. I only want one piece here, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and type in that equation, and let me find that here. So it's going to be 2 times the quantity of x minus 3, the quantity squared, plus 1.5. And that's all in the first part of the piece. That's the function. I'm going to press the right arrow to go to the qualifier. And the qualifier decided was 2.9 to 4.65, which was by guess and check. This was not something I was born with, 2.9. And this is the part I really like on the 84 CE. When I go to second math, which is test, there's all my inequalities, okay? But if you go over, there's a new thing called conditions where it has templates with all of these, okay? And I would like this to be 2.9 between x between 2.9 and 4.65. So let me just go back to that. I got the 2.9. So again, I'm going to go do the second math, which is test. Go to the left to conditions, and number 5 is like my favorite one. So I'm going to have 2.9 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to whatever. So when I type in 5, it pastes that in, and I just love that, okay? 4.65 is the ending, and I can go ahead and press enter. And now I'm going to go ahead and regraph it, and you can see it's graphing in that simultaneous mode as I did before. Maybe I'll put it back to sequential so we could see it again. Okay, so I do like the feature to be able to use the piecewise functions. Now, the last thing before we go to the 84, and we will keep coming back to the Nspire, all of them, okay? So I'm not done with this. Look at this. This is a mess. If I want to use this as a regular grapher, I got to clear all those out, put the colors all back in. Even if I do a soft reset, it will change the colors, but it won't erase all of the graphs. Okay. And plus I don't want to complete reset because I have stuff in my calculator I want. So I created a program called Reset Graph, and I'm going to share that with you as well. Okay. And I created it just for instances like this where you want to get things back to normal. So I'm going to run a program called reset graph because it only can have 8 letters. And you'll notice now y equals is cleared out. The colors are all back there. And not only that, I put my favorite window there. This is my favorite square window, okay, because it's in that ratio of 16 to 10 or 8 to 5. And when I press graph, it's got the grid lines in, the axes. Well, so you will have that if you want to use the reset graph function. All right, let me stop again, see if there are any questions or comments. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch now over to the 84 plus. All right, and I'm going to do the Ghost 84. Okay, I have a program for there, and I'm going to show you that as well. So this one, when I go to program, I only have 2 on the 84 because I rarely really use the grayscale calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter and press enter again. And it says press graph to see the ghost being drawn. So I'll do that. And there's that ghost right there. Okay. Um, and the equations are really very similar to what I had before. Okay. So not a whole lot there, except that. So yeah, I can show the favorite window settings when I get back to it. I'll do that. So on this one right here, the window I'm using right here again is 0 to 13, 0 to 8. And the only difference is for y equals, to do piecewise on an 84, it doesn't have the piecewise template. So you might remember, well, I'll go through and explain it anyway. You type in the function that you want surrounded in parentheses. So I'll say 2x minus 3 to quantity squared plus 1.5. And that's in parentheses. And then you use the division sign to start your qualifier. And then your qualifier is then also surrounded in parentheses. So I'm saying such that 2.9 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than or equal to 4.65. So when you're doing piecewise on an 84 that's not color, that's how you do it with the division sign. Think of the division sign as a such that key. And what it's doing is, real quick explanation, is using something called Boolean algebra or Boolean logic. And if an expression has a value that's true, it has the value 0. And I'm sorry, value 1. And if it's false, it has a value 0. So if it's a true thing, then it's going to graph it because it's going to divide by 1. And if it's false, it's going to not graph it because it's dividing by 0. So that's kind of using some clever logic there to be able to graph without a piecewise function. So the PDF of this, right here. So here is the how to draw a ghost on the TI-Nspire grayscale. Okay. Again, you have access to this, and I'm going quickly, I know, but again, you have access to it. So for this one, again, I want to use the same window. Okay. And then I want my grid on. Now on the grid there, on an 84 are dots, not lines. Okay, because of the resolution, the lines would be too thick. Again, that's from second zoom, which is format, turn the grid on. I also turn the axes off, okay? And so here is my place where I can draw what I want. And this is very similar to what I did before, labeled them. The only difference on the 84 is, again, that I put parentheses around my function, use division as my such that, and then parentheses around my qualifiers there. So, and again, the inequality signs are in the test menu. It does not have that statement with the and statement, but like the nice templates there. But the test menu has logic. And let me show you those just in case you've not seen those before. So if I go to y equals, I'm just going to clear that out. If I wanted to find the inequalities, that would be under second math, which is test. There they are, all the inequalities. And if I go to the right, there's where I get the word and. And by the way, when I type in, get the word and, you'll notice it puts a space before and after. Do not mess with those. Those are very necessary on there. And typing the word and is not going to work. It has to be that icon there. So let me clear that. PDF. Oh, and show the program. Yeah, maybe I'll show the program as well. If I edit in Ghost. And you can see as at the beginning, this is the setup I put up at the beginning of almost all my programs. And again, you have access to these. Turn the grid off, turn the expression off, and so on. Set the window, display what it's going to do. And then these are just with quotes around them typing said store these into Y1, into Y2, and so on. And fortunately for me, I only needed 10, and that's all I've got. So, so there's the program, and you have access to that. So let me pause and see if there are any 84 user questions there. So I heard someone say about TI Connect. You can also use TI Connect CE to transfer to the 84, and I would suggest using that because it works on both of them, and I think it's a much better program. All right. So before I do that, let me go back to the 84 plus CE because there was a question about the window, my favorite window. This is my favorite window that's square. And let me pull that off. There we go. There's my favorite window. And I store that window. Those of you who hopefully are aware of how you store a window, and in case you're not, let me just show you that real quickly. If you really like this window and you want to have it, can store one window setting at a time. That would be by going zoom over to memory, and then whatever your window is, you press 2 and it'll store that in a little mailbox inside the calculator. And so to bring it back, you go back to zoom and memory, and then resume recall will bring it back anytime you want it. Okay, so those are the window settings there for that. Someone also asked about where did I get the piecewise function from? Again, if I go to y equals, that's under math. And it's at the second from the bottom, so I'm going to press the up arrow twice. So there it is under math. That's where the piecewise function is, okay? And when I press enter and paste it, I can pick as many pieces up to 5 or as few as 1. And again, I picked 1 and okay. And then you type in the function and then you type in the qualifiers. And under second, math, which is test, is where you get the conditions that you can use there. Okay, so good questions, good questions. So now it's time to look at Inspire. And again, I'll be coming back to the 84 CE and to the 84 also. So on Inspire, let me go to page 3.1 because we're talking about the ghost. So Inspire only has one document because I can put all those things in different problems, and that's what I did. So the Inspire has just one file for you. So on the next pages, you'll find a ghost drawn with relation equations on a grid. So that's right here, okay? And so to see them, by the way, you'll notice I didn't use functions here. I could have, but I just thought I would use the relation grapher, especially for the circles, okay? And then so to see that, that's under graph entry edit, that's under relation, okay? And then here's one of them. I don't know if you can see right here, that's this part of the parabola right here, okay? And do that again. Here's the other part of the parabola. I'm not sure why I did that in 2 parts, but I did. And then here's another part of the mouth and another part of the mouth. And then the circles for the eyes and so on. And the parabolas for the sides and the parabola for the bottom. So, so there's all that there, okay? And somebody said, well, I'd rather not see the grid. So again, you can take the grid and the axes off, okay, and see that. I also included some other grids if you wanted to print those out, copy and paste them and print them out and then use them to draw. I mean, that's something else you can do, or just practice drawing something else on here, okay? All right, so that's Inspire. Let me see, show that. Show list in Smart. Oh yeah, here's so in Smart Notebook, I also have a list of those functions all together so you could see them. And you can see I've got, some parabolas with pieces, and I've got circles for the eyes and parabolas for the mouth or nose, depending on what you call it. Okay. Um, so those are the functions that I use. And again, it was not immediate. You play around with it. Okay. And what it does, it makes you come up with, how do I get 1/18th for this coefficient? How do I decide where to start and when to stop? Okay. So all those things are good mathematical things we're having our kids do, and trying to come up with a picture. So while I'm on Inspire, I thought we'd also look at how you carve a matho-lantern, not a jack-o'-lantern, but carve a matho-lantern. We can do it with functions. We can do it with figures, okay, on Inspire. So I'm going to stay with Inspire for right now. I'll be coming back to the 84 a little bit later. And so here on page 4.1, kind of tells you what's coming up, okay? So 4.2 is a matho-lantern, or a pumpkin, I guess you might say, that I drew with functions. So to show you which ones they are, let me just kind of show this. So this is F8, which I think is part of the stem, and F7 is the other part of the stem. You can't see, it's kind of covered up. But the next function, you can see that's the bottom, okay? 8/81st was my coefficient there, and there was my vertex is right on the bottom of this, the bottom of my pumpkin. And I have it going from 4 to 8.5. And then I have a square root, which is a part of an ellipse. I thought this was part of an ellipse. And then I went further and got the other part of the ellipse. And then I had to connect those two with a line, okay? And other ellipses there. And then the top part, which is just a horizontal line. So again, you can have the students create them, or you could give them this document and then ask, and then you could take off the grid if you want, and then ask them to make their own face. And this would be a great thing for middle schools, users who don't know a lot of equations yet. So I drew this in with the triangle feature, and then I used the rectangle feature. And for here, I used just segments, just drew segments. And this, I used the circle arc feature where you get pick 3 points for a circle to be drawn through. So I made like a circle for the bottom of the mouth and then use segments to make this. And so again, you can give them the blank pumpkin and say, go ahead and do this, or you can give them blank pumpkin and let them see the grid so it'll be easier for them to find points where to start and where to stop. That's kind of up to you. So questions or comments about that? And again, I gave you several so you can have the kids play with them. Okay, all right. I'm going to go back to the regular 84. Okay, back to the regular 84 for the next part. All right, and second quit there. Okay, clear. All right, and let me put this maybe on the background of this. There we go. Sorry about this. I got too many things open. So for this one here, let me go ahead and again address the middle school kids here. You'd like to have a pumpkin for them to draw on their 84, and I know it's not in color. So I have a program called Pump 84, and I usually, if it doesn't have an 84, it usually means it's for the CE. But if it's strictly for the 84, I usually put 84 in the title somewhere. So I'm going to run a program called Pump 84, which draws that same pumpkin. So I'll go ahead and draw that. And it's drawing again right in front of you, okay? And so what I'd like to have my students do is to, using the draw tools, be able to draw or carve out a jack-o'-lantern or a math-o'-lantern, if you will. Okay. And so I do have a step-by-step PDF that I do want to spend some time on because when I used to have the old 82s and 83s, we did this and got the kids excited about the calculator. So let me bring that up. So how to carve a pumpkin on the TI-84. Okay. So again, this is step by step. I'm not going to go through it completely, but I'll kind of highlight it here. So you first download and run the Pump 84 program on the 84. You run that. And so you can carve that by either using functions with limited domains or the draw features. I'm going to talk about the draw features first because I do want to have something for the middle schoolers. Okay. So if you're not familiar with the draw features, you want to become familiar with them. If you press second program, that means that you get to the draw menu. And the draw menu has these 11 different features that you can do, clear draw, line, horizontal, and so on. Again, I'm using this window. Okay, this is my square window on an 84 or an 84 CE. And again, I like to be square just so that things are proportional as they should be. One of the things I want to make sure you understand when you're using the draw features here, you want to begin from the graph screen. You do not want to begin from the home screen. That's something completely different. So make sure you do that. And the directions say that, and you'll see as you try if you try this. So here's some explanations of the draw features that we suggest you use. If you're familiar with them, I apologize for pointing this out to you. If you're not, then you might want to study these a little bit. So I'm not going to go through the whole list. I'm only going to go through the ones that I use a lot. Number one is clear draw. This clears any drawings that may have been done to the current screen. So if let's say I messed up or I want to do a different one, do clear draw and it'll clear all the drawings off. Okay, kind of think of this like an Etch-a-Sketch. Okay, you just kind of shook it and it's gone. Okay. Number two, the line feature actually doesn't draw a line, it draws a segment. Okay, you move the cursor to a certain endpoint, press enter, and then go left, right, or you can even go diagonally and move to your next endpoint, press enter, and it'll connect it with a line segment. Okay. Draw function is one of my favorites also in using limited domain functions, which is usually what you want. Usually you don't want the whole line or a whole parabola or whatever. So you'll ask for the draw F feature to come in. It'll put it blank. And then just like we did before, surround the expression with parentheses. Division is like your such that key and surround your qualifier with parentheses. The reason for that is if you don't, it's going to think this is 2x plus 3 divided by x, and then greater than or equal to 1 just doesn't make any sense. So that's why we put parentheses about both of those things. Okay. Again, the inequality symbols are from the test menu. When you press second math, that's how you get the test menu. If you want an inequality for like a between, then that's where you have 1 is less than or equal to x. The and from the logic part of the menu, which puts a space before and after, and x less than or equal to 3. Okay. So that's how you use the draw function feature. Circle is another cool one. You just run that command, go to where you want the center, press enter, go up as many points or go in some direction how far you want the radius to be, press enter again, and it draws a circle. Text allows you to type words or things on the screen, numbers if you want, but it also has a cool feature is you can use it as an eraser. Okay, and that's a feature that is really helpful since I can't undo on the 84. And the way you do that to use the eraser is you press second alpha to lock the alpha key, and then move your cursor to what you want to erase, above where you want to erase, and you keep pressing the 0 key because the 0 key is really the underscore, the blank space. I shouldn't say the underscore, the blank space. So it's typing a blank space on top of something that you didn't want there, and then you can go back and put something on top of it. Okay, so the text feature is a way to use the eraser. Try that. I mean, maybe I'll show that when we do that in a minute. And then finally, the pen is really the coolest one. It works pretty much like an Etch-a-Sketch. Press enter, and you can move all over the place, and it'll just draw wherever you're going, up, down, left, right, whatever. Okay. And then you press enter to stop drawing. So let's go ahead and look at how you would do this. Well, let me stop for a minute. Mike, have I still got people there?
Yeah, we have a few still on.
Just
Hey,
two
before
still
I
on?
forget,
Good.
at
Okay.
some point, do you think you'd be able to show how to take, especially towards the end, maybe things from the website you created, like some of the programs, and download them to either SmartView or maybe a
I
handheld?
created a video of that. I created a video of
Good.
that.
You're the best.
And if we have time at the end, I'll even do it live. But yes, good question, whoever said that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run the program Pump 84, or maybe I already did. Okay, and so what I'd like to do is I'd like to put maybe circles for eyes, a triangle for a nose, and something there. Okay, so I'm on the graph screen. Okay, I'm on the graph screen. So when I press second program, I get the draw menu. I don't want number one. That's going to clear the drawing. But I do want to draw a circle. So and since it looks like it's towards the bottom, I'm going to press the up arrow to get to the bottom quicker. Okay. And I'll go to number 9. And by the way, I'd have your students play with these, just do a random drawing before they try to create, because it's very hard to undo or erase. But anyway, so number 9, circle. So I'm going to go ahead and move to where I want the center of the circle to be. And on the sheet, I even give you an idea of where I would suggest it, but you don't have to. So let's say I want the center of the circle there. I'm going to press enter. And then I'm going to go up maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, 7 units. Okay. That'll be my radius. It's not really units, but 7 movements. And when I press enter at the end point of the radius, it draws a circle. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the center again. And let me go over here and put in another eye. And now I got to be kind of clever about where I put that so it doesn't look too cockeyed. Okay, maybe there. Okay. So, and I'm still in circle drawing mode, by the way. So I'll go ahead and press enter and it starts the circle. And again, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Press enter. There's my circle. They're a little bit further apart than I'd like, but hey, that's all right. If I press clear, it doesn't clear the drawing. It just clears me from being inside or being on the circle drawing. And now it's showing me about where I am. Okay, whoops, see the wrong key. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and move this, try to put it about in the middle. And if I want to draw a triangle for a nose, maybe I want the triangle to start here. So I could use either line segment or pen. I think I'll use pen this time. So again, second program is draw, and pen is the last one. So I'll go ahead and press enter on pen. And I have to press enter to start it, enter. And now I'd like to go down, left, down, left, down, left to kind of go diagonally. That's kind of how I get a diagonal thing going. All right, press enter, and that stops it. Press enter to start again, and then go to the left as far as I want. And now I'm going to press enter and enter again. I stopped it, now start it again. Now I want to go up and left to get to that top of my nose. I'll play around with that till I get there. And that looks like I might be there. So I'll press enter, and then I'll press clear to turn that function off. Okay. And then I can go ahead and do a draw function. Let me just do that to kind of illustrate that as well. Maybe I want the function to be a parabola that has 6, 1 for the vertex. So again, I'm going to go second draw. And number 6 is draw function. And by the way, these are all outlined in the sheet there, step by step. I'm just kind of riffing right now. I want to draw a function. left parentheses. I'm not even going to draw it correctly. I'm just going to go ahead and draw, say, 0.4 times the quantity x minus 6 quantity squared plus 1, close parentheses. Then the division symbol is what, like my such that, left parentheses, 1, and then second test is where I get the inequalities. 6 less than or equal to x. Second test, this time I want the word and that's under logic. Again, notice the spaces there. And x is second test for the inequality, 6 less than 6. And I think this is not going to be a very good smile, but I'll live with it and press enter. And that was an awful looking smile. But anyway, so let's say I wanted to erase some of that. Okay, we're going to make mistakes. How would you erase that? So again, I'm on the graph screen. I'm going to press second program, which is draw. And I'm going to go to text. And at first, I don't understand why you're going to text. But let me move my cursor to a place where I can get rid of something here. I'm not going to get rid of all of it, but I'll just illustrate how you can erase, because I think erasing is really a cool feature for kids to know. So right here, I'm just got my cursor here. Now I'm going to do second alpha, which locks my alpha, meaning any key I press will be an alpha key. And above 0 is the space bar. So if I keep pressing the 0, watch what happens. It's typing in spaces and erasing what was there, okay? So again, I can go over here and go up. And again, keep typing the 0, which is really the space bar because it's locked. And that's how you can erase. And then you can go ahead and type something on top. So let me stop there for just a minute. Questions or comments about this? And I would think this would be more of a middle school activity than a high school, though the high schools could do it. Questions, comments? Okay. All right, now back to the 84 color. It cannot be undone. All right. For this one here, I have I'm going to import a pumpkin. I took a picture of a pumpkin at a local store without buying it. I will tell you that. And then put it into the calculator. So this program is called Jack 84CE. And I have a grandson named Jack, but it has nothing to do with that, Jack-o'-lantern. But I did put CE here on it so that we knew that that's what it was for. And it says the background, it must be set to image 6, which is a pumpkin, and I already did that, so we don't need to do that anymore. So I ran the program. All I need to do is press graph. It's going to show me the pumpkin, and then it's going to show me drawing the Matho-lantern face, if you will. So graph. So it's drawing the eyes as triangles, nose as a circle, and I use 2 parabolas to draw in the mouth. Again, if you want to make it, I think, cooler, you could change from sequential to simultaneous, so it'll plot from left to right. That's kind of a cool thing, and you can kind of see it from left to right. I kind of like it simultaneous because I can see it drawing each piece, but whatever works for you. Okay. You'll notice that the semicircles don't connect. That's an issue. That's always been an issue with the 84 because it's getting close to having negative numbers and also pixel idea. But I kind of like that, especially on the ghost where it doesn't connect. So I'm okay with that. Okay. So the equations here, you can see again, I typed in like a horizontal line, but again, qualified it between 4 and 6. I've got a line, and look at this. I had a line of slope -1.5, y-intercept of 11.5, but I only wanted between these two. So this really made me talk about slope and y-intercept. And again, when I did this, let me see if I can I have that here. No, that's the ghost. Yeah, here we go. So this is the carving a pumpkin on the 84 color. So this is the step-by-step PDF that goes with this. Again, same window settings. Uh, again, you could do the draw on here. I'm not going to show it on the 84. It's the same as you saw on the 84 and the 84 CE, but the directions are still listed there for you. So for this one here, again, I got the background image is image 6, which is this pumpkin. And here I just drew in some circles. You just show you could do other different things with that. Okay. So you've got all that, and I've created a really big mouth on this one. Okay. Um, but so anyway, getting back to this, I really like this one because you have to find the equations of 3 lines, actually 6 lines, and then you have to say between what 2 points. And there's a lot of guess and check. There's a lot of, figuring out here, um, and it makes students go to a goal, not just say, well, I missed that. I didn't get that one right. No, they want to get it right. Okay. And then the parabola here, making sure that they connect it at the same spot. In fact, what did I use here for that? You can see they have the same vertex, x coordinate of vertex, but one's at 1, one's up 2, and this is 2 over 6.25, 1 over 6.25. That's another story about why you could why I got that number, but it did actually work. Okay. There was some playing around with that. I saw somebody had an excellent idea. If you want more than 10 functions, what you can do is program this. Okay. That's how I used to have it when I used to have my kids in the 80s and 90s draw pictures with the 83 and 84. They created a program, and then you kept just saying draw F, draw F, draw F, and you could have as many functions as you could fit on in your program. I like these just because I could do them all and see them all at once instead of having to go into the program. But yeah, whoever had that comment about being able to see putting these into a program, excellent idea. But that's another step. Students have to learn how to program and learn a bunch of other things about programming. But excellent idea there. And again, I've got all this stuff here. Got the graph. I got the picture. I have all these are in black. My reset graph will make this back to normal. So second mode is quit, run program, and let's go ahead and reset the graph. And I'm coming from the bottom, so it would be quicker. And when you go to graph, there it is, beautiful. Y equals beautiful. I even changed a couple of the colors because I like the royal blue here, and so I do change some of the colors to suit me better. And then my favorite window, as you can see. All right. So that's 84 CE. I do want to go now back to Nspire. I don't want the Nspire people to feel neglected here. So let me go back to Nspire, and I'll go back to the beginning. This is at the beginning. At the very first page, it kind of has a table of contents. So the first one is Matho lanterns. Okay, so the next one's going to be a pumpkin image with a grid. So this one here is one that students can kind of play with and kind of decide, do I want to do, shapes? For example, for those of you, if you want to do shapes, you could actually go through and go to geometry and say, I would like to draw in a triangle. And then you can go ahead and plot your points of your triangle. Unfortunately, here it looks like I have my vertices coming on. That's probably not a feature you would want. So if I go to the settings and say, I really don't want automatically label points, let me turn that off. And then I can go do another triangle. And again, this is something your middle schoolers can do. We can go with a geometry shape. You can go with a circle and say, I want to go with that center and that radius. Okay. And then the arc, I thought the arc was kind of a cool thing to do. Circle arc. If you hover over it, it tells you pick 3-point locations it should pass. So if I say pick that one, and say that one, there's my arc, and it looks like it wasn't a very good arc. Sorry about that, but you get the idea. And then I can draw in segments to make, different teeth and things like that. Okay. What else? So this is one that I drew with functions, or I'm sorry, with relations. And you can see there's the top part of the mouth is that parabola. The bottom is that parabola. And a circle, I can get a whole circle in there, a nice circle. And then again, I did lines for the triangles to make the triangles. Okay. So let me stop there before I go on. Questions, comments, anything I missed?
I think we had a couple people just asking if it's possible for you to show how you actually got some of the background images in the Inspire and the 84.
Yes, so that will be part of the thing on TI Connect. Yes, so yeah, let me do that. In fact, before I do that, let me show one more thing. On the 84C, I forgot there's also a program called Ghosts. Looks like Ghosts In. I do want to show this. Go ahead and run that and see the graph. And it's very similar to the first Ghost, but you can see the difference is it's really Ghost Sign. And this was not trivial, getting that point of inflection to start there and ending at a point of inflection and fitting. Had to really play around with period and phase shift and all that other good stuff. So these are not trivial by any means, okay? And you can see it right there. There's my function there, and I had a use 15 pi over 7 as the or 15/7 pi to get the period right. So, okay. So the question has now become, how do I get those pictures there? Okay, and those are good questions. So let me start first of all with Inspire. So let me go ahead and insert a graphs page there. And under insert, I can go and say insert an image. And then I have to go find a place where I have an image. And so I have this folder called T-Cubed Webinar for today. And I had several pumpkin pictures that I had, but now I have this pumpkin best. So I'm going to say, I want this pumpkin best picture, and I want to open that. And there it is. It's right there. It's that easy to get an image inside an Inspire document. Okay. Again, how I did that was I created, and maybe this time, a geometry page. Insert and insert image. And this time I'll get maybe a pumpkin that maybe wasn't so good. How about pumpkin 02? What was wrong with pumpkin 02? Oh, it wasn't wide enough. Okay. I wanted something a little bit wider. So that's why that one didn't make the cut. Okay. So hopefully that helps the Inspire people. The 84 color people, the way and it looks like I might have enough time to do this too. Though if I don't, I do have a video of this. So yeah, I got to finish in 3 minutes. So let me see what I can do here. So on, go ahead and bring up TI Connect. This is my TI Connect. And yeah, 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, let me just yeah, I'm not going to have time to do it. Not with the other things I've got to do. So let me show you how I can easily get it on the Smart View. How about if I just do that? And that's also in the video if you want to see that as well. So here's my Smart View. Now, right now I'm in what's called the emulator mode. Okay, emulator workspace. I'm going to click on this, and now I'm in the Emulator Explorer workspace. So what I'm going to do is bring up where say my programs or whatever. Let's say I want to put all these on my emulator. The Ghost Sign, Jack 84CE, Pumpkin Best, Reset Graph. I got all those and I want to put them on my emulator. It's very similar, by the way, what I would do if I had TI Connect open and with calculators connected. And again, the video shows you that clearly. And if not, you can always call 1-800-TI-CARES. But anyway, I collected these, okay? I'm going to drag and drop these right into the emulator workspace. All right, it's going to take a couple seconds and it's going to pop up a menu. Come on, don't fail me now. Oh, wait, did I not do it right? Oh, you got to be kidding me. Let me try it again. Huh. Well, what it's supposed to do, and maybe I needed to reset it. Let me see. But again, it's in the video because I just did this. It's not letting me do it. I don't know why. Don't know why. But anyway, it would come up and it would drag it in and the guys would be there. Okay. So sorry about that. Yeah, they're already in. Yeah, Mike says, are they already in there? They are, but it would still try to overwrite them. So I'm not sure why that froze on me. So I apologize for that. So a couple things I do want to point out. All materials are available at this website, lowercase bit.ly B letter O 2022 capital TI, Boo 2022 TI. Okay, so all materials are available there. And so, maybe I should go back, look at that website right here. So this is the website here. If you click on here, the Halloween ideas for the TI-84 CE, it will take you to a link to my Dropbox. And these are all the things that are there. You can't really open them from here. You need to download it to your computer, unzip it, and then you have access to all these files, okay? If you're Inspire, it's just one document that you can download, and it looks like it's a mistake. It says can't be previewed. No, it can't be, but you can download it and then just drag it into your Inspire. Okay, just put it right into your Inspire. So that's not a problem, and it's just one. It has everything I did with the Inspire there. Okay, and then if you're an 84 user, then these are the ideas here. And again, it looks very similar to the 84 CE. You just download it, unzip it, and you've got them. The TI Connect CE software, go there and download it. It's a free download. And this is the video that'll show you how to place files onto either 84s, 84 CEs, and also onto TI Smart View as well. Okay. And put the website in the chat. Maybe Mike, yeah, maybe Mike can do that, or I can do that afterwards. But so this is the website again, Boo 2022 TI. And then next week I'm back. Okay, I'm back. The title of my thing is I got to do this with my kids. Okay. How often your students notice and wonder. And there are more than 25 clever teaching ideas on how to use the TI-84 and the TI-84 CE. These are the 26 topics that I'll talk about some of them. Unfortunately, this only is for the 84 CE. You can do some of these on the Inspire, but I have videos, student PDFs, and teacher notes and solution PDFs all available, and you'll have those next Tuesday. And if you can't make it, register, and then you can watch it at your leisure. So with that, I am now going to turn it back to Mike. And so, Mike, thank you for being patient.
No problem, Tom. Thanks so much for everything. As promised, we're giving away to one lucky winner a TI graphing calculator. And the nice thing about tonight is you got a chance to see really just about all the ones that we're offering in this webinar drawing. And tonight's lucky winner is Anna, Sharice, Jocelyn. So congratulations. We'll be in touch over the next couple days, maybe a week or so here. We'll get in touch with you over email to figure out which graphing calculator you are picking. So congratulations. To receive a certificate of attendance, go ahead and click the link in the chat window. Also listed is a link for the documents that not only I use, but also Tom used. So in case you missed Tom's bit.ly, if you just click on my documents link, his bit.ly is there as well. And if you're watching this on demand, go ahead and copy that link into your favorite browser to receive your certificate. I know Tom earlier mentioned if you need any help with anything, give us a call, 1-800-TI-CARES, or send us an email, ti-cares@ti.com. Before we thank Tom, when you leave the webinar tonight, a brief survey will automatically appear in your browser. Your feedback really does guide us as we plan future online events, so please share those thoughts in the post-webinar survey. And a huge thanks to Tom for everything he shared tonight. I think we got more treats than tricks, but maybe the tricks come next week. I don't know. We'll see. But Tom, thanks so much for everything, and thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. We hope to see you back online with Tom next week. Have a great night.